Rain hit the roof like drums. The sky was dark and heavy. Tom sat near the window of his small wooden house. He lived alone in the forest, far from the city. He liked peace, trees, and quiet days. But this night was not quiet. A loud boom broke the sky. It sounded like thunder, but sharper. The ground shook under his feet. Tom stood up quickly. A flash of red light passed over the trees. Then came silence again. But it was not normal silence. It was the kind that made the hair on his arms rise. He opened his door. Rain poured down like a river. He grabbed his coat, flashlight, and boots. His hands moved fast without thinking. Something had fallen. Something big. Tom ran through the forest, past wet bushes and fallen branches. His light cut through the rain, showing small paths and old tree roots. The sound of cracking wood guided him. Then he smelled smoke. Soon, he reached a broken clearing. Trees were split in half. Dirt had been pushed aside like a wave. In the center of it all was a strange ship. It was silver, but burned. The side of the ship was open, like it had been torn from the inside. Sparks flew from wires. Steam rose from cracks. Tom stood still. He had never seen a real ship like this. It looked like something from space stories, but it was real. It was here. Then he heard breathing. Heavy, slow breathing. He turned his light to the side and stepped forward. His boots squished in the wet mud. Just beyond the wreck, something moved out at first. He thought it was a large dog. But no dog had arms like that. No dog had skin like metal and fur mixed together. The creature was lying on its side. One of its legs was bent wrong. It lifted its head slowly and looked at him. Its eyes were big and full of pain. Tom stepped back. The creature growled low, but it did not attack. It tried to stand and failed. Then, with great effort, it crawled toward him. He wanted to run, but his feet did not move. The creature reached him and sniffed his hand. It growled again and grabbed his coat sleeve with its mouth, not with sharp teeth, but with care. Then it pulled. Tom pulled back, but the creature kept dragging him toward the broken ship. "Wait. Stop. What are you doing?" he said, but the creature did not understand. It kept going. Even though it was hurt, its leg left a trail of blood behind. The rain washed some of it away. The creature groaned but kept moving. It needed him to follow. Tom finally gave in. He walked beside it, holding its side to help. The wreck was only a few steps away now. They reached the side of the ship. The creature let go of him and climbed inside. Tom followed, careful of the sharp metal. Inside was dark and hot. Smoke made it hard to breathe. Sparks jumped from broken panels. The floor was tilted. The smell of blood and burnt metal filled the air. Then Tom saw the body. It was not human. Tall, strong, covered in armor. But the armor was cracked. The chest was open, bleeding thick dark liquid. One arm was bent behind the back. The face was long, with ridges where a nose should be. Its eyes were closed. The creature went to the alien and cried a strange sound. It licked the alien's hand and lay beside him. Tom knelt down. He looked at the alien's wounds. They were deep, too deep for any simple help. The alien opened one eye and looked at him. It tried to speak. A rough sound came out, a deep voice full of pain. Tom could not understand. But he saw something in the alien's eyes, a message, a plea. The creature growled softly and looked at Tom again, then back at its master. The creature's body shook from pain, but it stayed close. Tom took a breath and pulled out the small first aid box from his coat. It had simple things: bandages, tools, water. He moved closer to the alien and tried to help. He cleaned one of the wounds. The alien winced but stayed still. "You're hurt bad," Tom said. "But I'm here. I'll help." He did not know if the alien could hear or understand, but he kept talking. It helped him stay calm. The creature watched every move. It did not blink. If Tom moved too fast, the creature growled. But as long as he was gentle, it stayed quiet. Tom wrapped a bandage around the alien's arm. Then he gave water to the creature. It drank slowly, eyes still locked on him. The storm outside roared louder. Wind shook the broken trees. Thunder rolled across the hills. Rain poured through the holes in the ship. Water touched the floor and mixed with the alien's blood. Tom sat back and looked at the two beings in front of him. One dying, one wounded, both far from home. He had found something strange tonight, something wild, something real. He did not know what would happen next, but he knew one thing. He was no longer alone. Rain poured harder on the broken ship. Cold wind rushed through the open cracks. Tom sat beside the alien warlord, who lay still but breathing. The pet beast lay close to its master, not moving much. Its large eyes stayed on Tom. Tom wiped sweat from his face and checked the bandage again. It was soaked in dark blood, but it had slowed. The alien was not safe, but it was alive for now. The pet growled low. Tom looked up, but it was not growling at him. It was growling at the darkness beyond the ship. Something had moved in the trees. Tom stood and stepped outside the broken ship. The forest was dark. The storm had not stopped. Rain hit the leaves hard. The only light came from broken wires on the ship and Tom's small flashlight. He turned slowly, checking each side. Nothing but trees and falling rain. But his gut said something was out there. He stepped back inside and looked at the beast. "Do you hear something?" he asked. The beast gave a soft bark. Then it tried to stand. Its injured leg shook, but it pushed forward. It limped toward the opening and sniffed the air. Then it looked at Tom and gave a louder bark. It wanted him to follow. Tom was unsure. He looked back at the alien, who had not moved, but something told him the beast was trying to protect both of them. "All right," he said. "Let's go." He stepped out into the rain again. The beast followed, limping but strong. It moved through the trees, slow but steady. Tom walked behind, flashlight in hand. They went deeper into the woods, far from the crash. The beast stopped near a thick tree and sniffed the ground. It growled again. Tom knelt and looked. There were tracks in the mud, large boots, not human boots. Tom touched one of the prints, fresh, deep. Whoever it was, they were big and heavy. The beast barked and looked up. Its ears stood tall. Then it turned and ran back toward the crash. Tom followed fast. They reached the wreck and heard a sound from above, a low hum. Then a light cut through the rain. 3 small ships came down from the clouds, black and sharp, shaped like arrows. They landed near the broken ship, slow and quiet. Tom backed into the ship and watched from the side. Doors on the ships opened. From them came soldiers in black armor. Their faces were covered. Their bodies looked strong and trained. They moved like hunters. The beast stood near the warlord and growled loud. Its fur stood up. Its body shook from both pain and anger. Tom grabbed a metal rod from the floor. It was bent, but strong enough to use. The soldiers walked forward, scanning the wreck. One of them spoke in a language Tom could not understand. His voice was hard and cold. Then the soldiers saw the warlord. He raised his weapon. The beast jumped between them and growled louder. The soldiers shouted something and pointed. 2 others aimed their weapons. Tom had to do something. He stepped out and raised his arms. "Stop. He's hurt. He's not your enemy," Tom shouted. The soldiers looked at him. One stepped forward and fired near Tom's feet. The ground exploded with a flash. Tom fell back. His ears rang. He dropped the metal rod and covered his head. The beast roared and jumped at the soldier who fired. It hit him hard and knocked him down. But the others raised their weapons again. Suddenly, a strange light flashed from the warlord's chest. A round device blinked red and green. Then a shield appeared around the warlord, the beast, and Tom. The blast hit the shield and bounced off. The soldiers shouted and fell back. Tom looked at the warlord. His hand was on the device. His face was pale, but his eyes were open again. The beast licked the warlord's face and cried. The warlord reached out and touched Tom's shoulder. "Tom, lean close." The warlord took a small round object from his side and pressed it into Tom's hand. It was warm and smooth. A small screen lit up. A map showed. A single word in English appeared at the bottom. "Safe." Tom looked at the warlord. The alien nodded once and closed his eyes again. Tom now understood. The warlord was asking him to take the device It held a message, a warning, a plan, something important. The shield around them started to fade. The Warlord had no more power left to keep it strong. The soldiers outside started shouting again. They ran to their ships. More lights began to appear in the sky. Tom's heart raced. He had to move fast. He looked at the beast. It stared at him with clear eyes. Then it limped to the edge of the ship and barked. It wanted Tom to follow. Tom did. Not wait. He grabbed the device, stuffed it into his coat, and followed the beast out of the wreck. They ran into the dark forest as the enemy soldiers reloaded their weapons. Behind them, the broken ship shook. More ships were landing. The forest was no longer safe. But Tom had the map. The Warlord had trusted him. Now the rain did not feel cold. He had a mission. The forest was cold and wet. Rain still fell from the dark sky. Tom ran behind the wounded beast as fast as he could. Trees passed like shadows. His boots slipped in the mud. Branches scratched his arms. But he did not stop. The enemy soldiers were behind them. He could still hear their shouts. Their strange ships made low sounds as they searched the ground. Tom looked down at the small device in his coat. It showed a map with a red line. The word SAFE blinked slowly at the corner of the screen. That was the only thing in English. Everything else was written in symbols he did not know. The beast stopped near a large tree. It sniffed the air, then turned and barked. Tom caught up, breathing hard. His chest burned from the run. "We can't keep running like this," he said. The beast limped toward a hill covered in moss. Its steps were slower now. It was hurt worse than before. Blood mixed with mud under its paws. Tom walked beside it and helped hold its weight. The hill was steep, but at the top was a flat area with old stone. A broken circle stood in the center. It looked like part of an old structure. Maybe something left behind long ago. The beast lay down inside the circle. It licked its side where a deep cut bled. It made soft, tired sounds. Tom knelt and opened his small first aid kit again. "I know I'm not a doctor, but I'll try," he whispered. He cleaned the wound as best as he could. The beast watched him, but did not move. It trusted him now. That made Tom feel stronger. After wrapping the wound, Tom sat beside the beast. He pulled out the alien device and looked at the blinking map again. The red line pointed toward the east. There was a dot far ahead. Maybe it was a shelter. Maybe a base. Maybe more of the Warlord's people. He touched the screen. A soft voice came from it. The words were not English. The language sounded strange, full of clicks and tones. Tom did not understand, but the voice felt calm. The screen changed. A shape of the Warlord appeared. It was a clear picture, like a message. The Warlord stood tall. Not hurt, not broken. He wore full armor and held a long staff in one hand. The Warlord began to speak. The same strange language filled the air. Tom watched closely. The Warlord pointed to the stars, then to the ground, then to a group of other aliens behind him. They looked like fighters, strong, loyal. More shapes appeared, ships, planets, symbols, arrows, then black shapes covered in spikes. Those were not the same people. They looked angry, sharp, dangerous. Tom guessed they were the enemy. The Warlord raised his hand and made a fist. Then he pointed at a small blue shape, Earth. It was clear now. The enemy wanted something from Earth. Maybe to destroy. Maybe to take. The message ended. Tom sat in silence. The beast looked up at him and gave a soft growl. It felt the same fear. "They're coming here," Tom said. He tried to stop them. The rain slowed. The wind became quiet. For a short time, the world felt still. Tom placed the device back into his coat and looked at the beast. "You knew what to do. You brought me to him, you saved him, and you brought me the message," he said. The beast gave a slow blink. It tried to stand again but failed. Tom reached out and patted its side gently. "You did good. Now I'll take it the rest of the way." A sudden sound broke the silence. A high-pitched beep came from the forest behind. Lights appeared between the trees, flashing blue and white. The soldiers had found the crash. It would not take long before they followed the trail here. Tom stood and helped the beast to its feet. Together, They left the stone circle and started walking east, following the red line on the screen. The path was rough, fallen logs and pools of mud slowed them down. But the device kept showing the way. The beast leaned against Tom for support. Tom did not mind. He felt stronger now, even though fear still lived in his chest after some time. They reached a rocky slope. The path was steep, but it led to a narrow cave. The entrance was hidden by plants and stones. The device beeped once and showed a green dot. They were close. Tom pushed the plants aside and entered the cave. The air was dry inside. The sound of rain faded behind them. The cave went deeper than he thought. Glowing rocks lit the walls with a soft blue light. The beast walked ahead now, its steps more steady. It seemed to know the way. They reached a round chamber deep inside. At the center stood a large metal door. It had the same symbols as the device. The beast stopped and waited. Tom took out the device. The screen showed the door. Then a soft tone played. A light from the device scanned Tom's face. The door opened with a slow hiss. Inside was a small room filled with alien machines. Screens blinked. Maps showed star systems. One large screen showed Earth. It was marked with a red circle. Tom stepped forward. A voice filled the room. Not from the device. From the walls. This time, the words were in English. Message received. Human ally detected. Warlord column last signal confirmed. Defense protocol now active. Tom's eyes widened. The Warlord had sent the message. The machines had translated it for Earth. He was now part of something larger. The beast lay down near the door. Its eyes finally closed. Tom stood in the light of the screen. His heart beat hard. The Warlord had trusted him. The pet had saved him. Now he had a chance to stop what was coming. He was just a man from the forest, but now he had the voice of the stars behind him. Tom stood in the middle of the alien chamber. Blue lights glowed on the walls. Strange machines blinked and moved. The screen in front of him showed a star map with Earth at the center. It looked like a war map. Red lines moved toward the planet. From every side, the voice from the wall spoke again. Warning. Hostile forces detected near Earth. Warlord column last seen in Sector 12. Emergency defense key has been passed to human subject. Tom looked at the small device in his hand. The same red line on the screen pointed to a blinking point on the map. It was moving slowly toward Earth. That must be the enemy fleet. Tom turned and looked at the beast. It was lying near the door, breathing deep but steady. Its wounds were wrapped and dry. It had done its part. Now it rested. He walked to the nearest panel and placed the device on it. The screen changed. It showed the Warlord again, standing, tall and proud. His voice played in English now. If you are seeing this, it means I have fallen. But hope is not lost. The one who holds this device is trusted. Help them. They are Earth's voice now. Tom felt a cold chill on his back. He was not ready for this. He was just a man who lived in the forest. He had no training, no weapons, and no plan. But he had something more important. He had the Warlord's trust. The machine spoke again, tracking unknown movement. 3 enemy scout ships have landed near your position. Tom's heart jumped. The enemy was near. He grabbed the device and stepped back. The beast opened its eyes. It stood up, slow but ready. Tom nodded. They found us. The beast growled. Low. It moved toward the door and stood beside Tom. Together, they left the chamber and walked back through the glowing cave. Rain was falling again outside. The forest was darker than before. The ships had come down behind the hills. Lights flashed between the trees. Shadows moved. Tom and the beast crouched behind the thick tree. They saw 3 soldiers in black armor walking slowly through the forest. Their armor had glowing red lines. Their helmets covered their faces. Each one held a weapon that looked sharp and deadly. The beast growled again. Tom placed a hand on its side. Not yet. He looked around. A plan began to form in his mind. There was a fallen tree near a stream not far from the cave. If he could leave the soldiers there, maybe they could trap them. Tom pointed to the far side of the hill. The beast looked and nodded. It understood. Tom picked up a sharp stick. It was not much, but it was better than nothing. He stepped out from behind the tree and shouted, "Hey, over here!" The soldiers turned quickly. One shouted in a strange voice and pointed. Tom ran. He ran through the trees, splashing through the mud, jumping over roots. The soldiers followed. Their boots made heavy sounds. Blasts flew past him, hitting trees and rocks. Tom reached the stream and crossed it fast. The ground was soft and full of moss. He stopped behind the fallen tree and waited. The first soldier stepped on the mossy ground. The second followed close behind. Suddenly, the beast jumped from the side. It slammed into the third soldier, knocking him into the water. The weapon flew from his hand. Tom rushed forward and swung his stick at the second soldier. It hit the helmet hard. The soldier stumbled back. The beast bit the first soldier's arm and shook. The soldier dropped his weapon. Tom picked up the fallen weapon and pointed it. His hands shook. He pressed the trigger. A bright blue beam shot forward and hit the ground near the soldier. The blast threw mud in the air. The soldiers turned and ran back toward the trees. Tom and the beast stood still, breathing hard. They had won this fight, but it was not over. The beast walked to the soldier in the stream. It sniffed him and growled. The soldier was still alive, but hurt. Tom looked at him. "You came for the Warlord, didn't you? You wanted him gone." The soldier said nothing. His helmet was broken. One of his eyes was seen. It was dark and cold. Tom stepped back. "We have to move." He and the beast climbed the hill again and entered the cave. The machines were still on. The map on the screen now showed the enemy. Fleet closer to Earth. Time was running out. The machine voice spoke again. "New signal received. A friendly unit is near. Marking location now." A new green dot appeared on the map. It was close. Just a few kilometers away. It could be helped. Tom turned to the beast. "We go there next." He packed what he could. The alien weapon, the device, a few tools from the chamber. Before leaving, he turned to the machine and spoke. "If anyone from the Warlord's people comes, tell them we're still fighting." The machine replied. Message stored. "May honor guide you." Tom and the beast left the cave. The rain had stopped. The sky was clearing, but the ground was full of danger. Tom walked ahead, holding the alien weapon tight. The beast walked beside him, ready to protect. He did not know who the friendly unit was. He did not know what waited for them. But he was not afraid. He had the map. He had the message. He had a loyal beast by his side, and he had something no enemy could steal. He had a reason to fight. The forest was quiet again. The rain had stopped, and the clouds began to break. Soft light touched the wet leaves. Birds stayed hidden, and the air smelled like smoke and earth. Tom and the beast moved through the trees, following the path shown by the blinking green dot on the device. Tom held the alien weapon tight in both hands. It felt heavy, but also strong. He had seen what it could do. He hoped he would not need to use it again, but he stayed ready. The beast walked beside him, limping a little. Its legs still hurt, but it did not slow down. Its eyes stayed sharp. It sniffed the wind and watched every shadow. Tom looked at the device screen. The green dot was close now. A small hill rose ahead. Behind that hill was the signal. Maybe help. Maybe danger. He did not know. He stopped at the bottom of the hill and looked up. "I'll check first," he said. The beast growled low, as if it disagreed. But Tom gave a small smile. "I'll be careful." He climbed the hill, keeping low. Each step was slow and silent. He reached the top and peered over. There was a wide clearing below. In the middle stood a silver pod, shaped like a drop of water. It was smooth and clean. Round it were signs of a landing: burned grass, melted dirt. No guards, no soldiers, no enemy ships. Tom slid down the hill and walked closer. The device beeped faster. This was the place. The pod opened with a soft sound as he came near. A ramp lowered, and blue light shone inside. A tall alien stepped out. This one looked like the Warlord, but younger. His armor was not broken. His eyes were sharp and alert. He raised his hand, not in threat. "In peace." Tom lowered his weapon slowly. The alien spoke first. You carry the key. You walk with the war beast. You are the one. Tom blinked. You speak English? Yes. The Warlord taught us. For this reason, for this day, the alien said. Tom felt his chest grow tight. He took out the device and held it up. He gave me this. He said to follow the map. He said Earth was in danger. The alien stepped forward and took the device with care. He touched a small symbol on its side. A new message played. The Warlord's voice filled the air again. This human saved me. This human stood when others would run. Give him what he needs. Show him what must be done. The young alien closed his eyes. His voice grew quiet. Warlord Colin was like a father to us. He fought to protect weak worlds. He saw what was coming. He knew the enemy would strike Earth. Tom looked down. The memory of the Warlord bleeding in the wreck returned. The way the beast cried beside him. The way the Warlord had pressed the device into his hand. He trusted me. But I'm just a man. I live in the woods. I fix broken radios. I don't know how to fight armies. The alien placed a hand on Tom's shoulder. You did not run. That is more than most. You stood beside our leader when others turned away. That makes you more than just a man. Tom did not speak. He felt the weight of the Warlord's trust pressing down, like a heavy coat. But deep inside, something was burning, a spark that had started in the rain and grown stronger with every step. The alien turned and motioned toward the pod. Come, there is more to show. Inside the pod, lights glowed soft blue. The walls were smooth. A screen showed a large image of Earth. Red lines circled it. The alien pointed. The enemy fleet will arrive in 3 days. We cannot stop all of them, but we can stop the leader. If we cut off the head, the rest will scatter. Tom leaned closer. How do we do that? There's a command ship hidden in the clouds of your planet. It controls the rest. The Warlord learned its weak point before they struck his fleet. The data is here, the alien said, and placed the device into a slot. A red image of the enemy ship appeared, a glowing point blinked near the center dot. Tom watched closely. That's the core. Yes, if we destroy that, the enemy will fall into chaos. Their power will break. Tom stood straight. Then take me there. The alien looked surprised. You want to go alone? No. I want you to take me, the beast, and any help you can give. The Warlord died to protect this world. I'm not letting that be for nothing. The alien gave a short bow. Then we fight together. Tom left the pod and walked back down the hill. The beast was waiting. It stood as he came near. Tom knelt and placed his hand on its head. We're going to finish what your master started. The beast let out a soft growl and bumped its head against his chest. The alien joined them and pressed a button on his armor. A new message was sent into the sky. Allies of Warlord Khan, the time has come. Earth needs us now. Tom stood tall. The weapon was on his back. The fire in his chest burned strong. 3 days remained. One ship to destroy. He would not stop. He would not turn back, because now he was not just running from the enemy. He was running toward them. The day was cold and gray. The wind shook the trees. Tom stood on the edge of a high cliff. Below him, the clouds rolled like white waves. Beyond the clouds, the enemy ship waited. It was huge and dark, with sharp edges and glowing red lights. This was the command ship, the heart of the enemy fleet. The young alien led Tom and the beast. Other fighters came with them, wearing silver armor that shined even in the weak light. They were calm but ready. Tom felt small among them. He was just a human from a quiet forest. Yet they looked at him like a leader. Are you ready? The alien asked. Tom nodded. His hands held the alien weapon steady, ready as I'll ever be. They boarded a small craft that flew through the clouds. The air was thin and cold. Tom held his breath as the ship moved closer to the enemy command ship. The giant ship was quiet. Too quiet. Inside, the enemy guards moved with slow steps. They watched the skies. They searched the clouds, but they did not expect Tom and his group. The fighters landed on the enemy ship's surface. The sky was dark with smoke. Red lights blinked on the ship's walls. Tom followed the young alien through narrow corridors. The weapon in his hands hummed softly. It was strange and strong. He learned quickly to point it and fire. The blasts did not kill instantly, but they stunned the enemy's soldiers. Tom moved carefully. He heard footsteps and whispers. The enemy was close. Suddenly, a group of soldiers appeared. They shouted and raised weapons. Tom fired the alien weapon. Blue light hit the ground. One soldier fell back. The others moved fast. The beast ran beside Tom. It attacked with speed and power. It bit and pushed. The soldiers were surprised by the fierce animal. Tom and the beast worked together like one. They fought through the halls. Each step brought them closer to the ship's core, the glowing point on the map. Tom's heart beat fast. Sweat ran down his face. But he kept moving, for the Warlord, for Earth. At last, they reached a large chamber. The core was there, a glowing sphere of energy. Red and blue light spun inside it. Machines hummed around the sphere. It was the ship's power source and control center. The young alien stepped forward. This is the weak point. Destroy it, and the fleet will lose command. Tom took the weapon. He aimed carefully. The beasts stood close, together. They watched the enemy soldiers rush in to stop them. Tom fired. The blast hit the core. Light exploded. The room shook. Alarms screamed. The sphere cracked and cracked again. Then it shattered into sparks. Machines died. The ship's power faltered. Outside, the enemy fleet lost control. Ships slowed and stopped. Red lights went out. Silence spread. Tom and the fighters ran back to their craft. The beast limped but followed. The young alien smiled. Warlord Kalon's plan worked. You helped save many worlds. Tom looked at the clouds below. The rain on Earth had stopped. Sunlight broke through. The fight was not over. But today, they had won. He smiled. He was not just a man from the forest anymore. He was a hero who would stand for his world. The sky was clear and bright. The sun warmed the forest where Tom lived. Birds sang their morning songs. The rain was gone, and the air smelled fresh. Tom sat outside his small wooden house. The beast lay near him, resting but calm. Its eyes watched. The trees, alert and proud. The silver ships had come. They had landed quietly near the edge of the forest. Soldiers in shining armor stepped out. They looked like the young alien who had helped Tom. They were the Warlord's people, the defenders of many worlds. They came to honor their leader, Kalon. They had fought a great war and lost him, but they had gained something new, a human, who stood when others fell. Tom was no longer alone. A tall alien soldier stepped forward. His voice was calm and strong. You saved our Warlord. You saved Earth. We owe you our thanks. Tom smiled. I did what anyone would do. I helped a friend in need. The soldier nodded. You helped more than that. You changed the future. The beast stood and walked to Tom. It lowered its head, letting Tom touch it. A bond had grown between them, deeper than words. Then the soldier spoke again. We will leave now, but we will return. Earth is now part of our alliance. Tom watched. As the silver ships lifted into the sky, they rose with quiet power, leaving the forest peaceful once more. The world was different now. Tom looked at the trees and the clear sky. He thought of the rain, the Warlord, and the beast. He thought of the fight to save Earth. He knew this was only the beginning. One day, the stars would shine brighter over Earth. The people of the world would stand together, and they would be ready, because Earth had a new friend in the stars, because Earth had a human who would never kneel.